World Cup qualifying Africa Burundi vs Ivory Coast prediction, team news, lineups preview. Burundi and Ivory Coast are back in action in Group F of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers when they go head-to-head at the Stade d'Honneur on Friday. This will be the first meeting between the two sides currently separated by just 3 points in the standings since November 2024, when the Elephants ran riot in a 4-0 friendly victory. Match preview. Following a turbulent end to 2024, Burundi will aim to turn their fortunes around when they return to action in the World Cup qualifying race on Friday as they look to secure a first-ever appearance. Les Hirondelles wrapped up their schedule for 2024 with consecutive defeats at the hands of Uganda in their 2025 African Nations Championship qualifying doubleheader in December. Burundi suffered a 1-0 loss against the Cranes at the Ham Stadium on Boxing Day, 3 days before losing by the same scoreline courtesy of a 91st-minute winner from 24-year-old forward Hakeem Kiwanuka. This was in keeping with their underwhelming display in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, where they kicked off their campaign with a 3-2 win over Malawi in September 2024 before picking up just 1 point from their subsequent 5 matches in Group L to finish rock bottom in the table. Patrick Sangwa's men now turn their focus to the World Cup qualifiers where they have shown much promise, picking up 2 wins and 1 draw from their 4 matches in Group F. Their only defeat came in November 2023 when they were beaten 2-1 by Gabon at the Benjamin Mkapa National Stadium. Burundi, who are currently on a 7-game winless run, have picked up 7 points from a possible 12 to sit third in the group standings, 2 points adrift of second-placed Gabon in the qualifying playoff spot and 3 behind Friday's visitors. As for Ivory Coast, they return to action in the qualifiers as one of just 9 unbeaten sides in the campaign, having picked up 3 wins and 1 draw while scoring 12 goals and keeping 4 clean sheets so far. Having steamrolled Seychelles 9-0 in the Group F curtain raiser back in November 2023, the Elephants edged out Gambia 2-0 at the Benjamin Mkapa National Stadium before picking up a narrow 1-0 victory over Gabon last June thanks to a first-half strike from experienced midfielder Seko Fofana. However, Ivory Coast's 100% record in the World Cup qualifiers came to an end 3 days later as they were held to a somewhat disappointing goalless draw by a dogged Kenya side when the two nations squared off at the Binga National Stadium. Immerse Faye's men head into Friday's clash off the back of a penalty shootout defeat against Burkina Faso in the 2025 CHAN playoff on December 28. When Les Etalons secured a 2-0 victory to overturn a first-leg deficit and force penalties. Ivory Coast will be backing themselves to kick off their schedule for 2025 on a high and edge closer to a 4th World Cup appearance as they take on an opposing side who lost each of their previous 2 meetings between the two nations since their first encounter, in March 2003. Team news. Burundi have called up 25 players for their upcoming games against Ivory Coast and Seychelles, with head coach Sangwa recalling several experienced players to the national team setup. Norwegian-based midfielder Patrick Bezosa has been included in the team for the first time in the last 5 years, while Beerschot midfielder Marco Waymans is set to feature for Les Hirondelles for the first time since 2023. The biggest news for Ivory Coast is the return of striker Sebastian Haller, who missed each of the last 3 international windows due to injury, while Jean-Philippe Baman makes the cut for the first time since March 2023. Manchester United's Amad Diallo misses out due to injury, while Maxwell Cornet, who has picked up 2 goals and 1 assist in 6 games for Genoa since his West Ham United switch, has been overlooked by Faye. The 41-year-old has included familiar faces in his 25-man squad, including Villarreal's Nicolas Pepe, Brighton and Hove Albion's Simon Adingra and 28-year-old Frank Kessie. There is also a new face in the Elephants squad as AJ Osair defender Clement Akpa has earned his first ever senior call-up, having represented the nation at under-23 level. Burundi possible starting lineup: Nkurunziza, Waymans, Ndayishimiye, Nsabiyumva, Nduwarujura, Liangala, Msenga, Bigirimana, Bizosa, Nyangabire, Mvuka. Ivory Coast possible starting lineup: Fofana, Dewey, Diomande, Ndika, Singo, Senghor, Kessie, Adingra, Ahalu, Pepe, Haller. We say, Burundi 0-3 Ivory Coast. While Ivory Coast remains their biggest challenge in the qualifiers, Burundi can take pride in their performance so far as they could climb to the top of the table this weekend. However, given the gulf in quality and depth between the two teams, we are backing the Elephants to come away with all 3 points unscathed. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to click the subscribed button and hit the bell icon for more.